manner of ritual.
Speak not of it again!
Hey folks, Darren here, Mr. Sandsman. A little bit late with this video. I just wanted to go over what I bought in April. I was on vacation. I've been ill this last few weeks, so I haven't had a chance to do this video. So I thought I'd better do it today so it's not too late. So in April, I think I purchased around about 12 to 15 Blu-rays and DVDs. And I'll go through them now individually with you. Some I've made individual videos on, so I won't spend too long on those ones. But others, maybe I haven't talked about too much, so I'll, maybe spend a little bit more time on those. But first off, at the start of the month, at the start of April, I managed to get hold of the Steelbook version of Nosferatu. And it's a really beautiful Steelbook that they've done. Very subtle. Love the way that the light catches it, and you've got that kind of hazy beam over Count Orlok there. The back as well has Lily Rose Depp on it. Nothing much on here other than the extended cut of the movie. There's a making of, and I think a few deleted scenes and a commentary as well. So not too bad, but I would imagine that further down the line there'll be a more plush version of this coming out, I'm sure. But for now, this is fantastic. It looks and sounds incredible. If you've got HDR10 or Dolby Vision and Atmos, then you're in for a treat with this one. So Nosferatu is definitely one of my picks of April. Next up was a movie that I did a video for a few weeks ago, a 90s action classic. Samuel L. Jackson, Gina Davis, Brian Cox, a great little movie called The Long Kiss Goodnight. This was released by Arrow. It's a 4K and a Blu-ray, Dolby Vision and Atmos. Great stuff. Always like to hear that there's an Atmos track on there. Lots of extras on there. If you want to know more about what is on this, I did a video on it and the link is somewhere up there right now. But yeah, incredible transfer that they've done on this. Really, really cool movie. One of my favorites of the 90s and still holds up today. Stands alongside those movies like Salt and The Bourne Identity, things like that. Really, really cool. Really, really worth a watch if you haven't seen this film. I think you'll be surprised.
Chefs, do that.
A double Blu-ray box set is next from Arrow Video. This came out slightly after The Long Kiss Goodnight. Two 80s classics, or 90s actually. I think one was 80s, one was 90s. FX and FX2. It's a really nice box set. It's a shame it's not in 4K, but the Blu-ray transfers are actually really good. Brian Brown and Brian Dennehy are a great team up in this. You don't get team ups like that anymore. There's no buddy-buddy movies anymore. What I really like about these movies is that back in the 80s and 90s, we didn't have much like DVD extras or behind-the-scenes footage or anything like that. So the whole process of movie making was a bit of a mystery a lot of the time, and these movies gave you that peek behind the curtain. They let you in on how squibs worked and how makeup techniques were done, molds and casts, things like that, all wrapped up in a murder mystery. And so yeah, FX is the stronger movie of the two. FX2 is still very watchable, but not quite as good as the original. But they've done a really good job with these. I think you'd be really pleased with this box set. Arrow released it. It's not too expensive as well. I think it was around about $24.99 or something. Like I said, shame it's not in 4K, but they do pack it filled with a wealth of extras in there. There's all sorts of commentaries, making ofs, different essays and behind the scenes looks. So you're not going to be short of getting your fix of these two movies because there's plenty to keep you going on there. Definitely recommended if you're a fan of these movies. If you want to take a chance on them, I highly recommend it too. I think you'll really enjoy them. They're kind of their time, but they are kind of edgy seat thrillers and the kind of movies that don't get made anymore. So yeah, FX and FX2. Murder by Illusion, or The Grand Illusion as this is called, is one of my recommendations for April. Next up, two movies from Second Sight, two box sets that came out, special editions, both Blu-rays again, which is kind of disappointing, and they are The Coffee Table and The House of the Devil. Now, I've done a video on these two already. You can check that out somewhere up there. Two very, very intense horror pictures, if you can call The Coffee Table horror. I think it's more of a drama than it is a horror, although it has a lot of horror elements in it. House of the Devil's one of those movies that calls back to movies like Rosemary's Baby, even Halloween, things like that. Something mysterious going on in a house and two girls in there that are falling foul to it. The Coffee Table is a Spanish movie, which you're either going to love or you're going to hate. I fall into the I love it category. When I first saw this, I swore I'd never watch it again, and I watched it again the other week, and I absolutely love it. Some of you will not love it at all because of the subject matter of the film. It's pretty grueling throughout, but they've done a great job on this box set. You get books, essays, postcards, all that kind of stuff. And as I said, if you want a full breakdown of what's in these two, then just check out the link that I put up earlier and you'll be able to see. Next up are three horror documentaries that were recommended to me, and that's thanks to Christian over at Planet CHH. I'd heard of these documentaries, but I'd never got round to picking them up over the years, and so I got onto eBay and started scouring around and managed to actually get hold of them brand new. All sealed at a very good price, something like £5 or £6 or something like that. And they are Going to Pieces, which is a kind of history of the slasher. The American Nightmare, which is how the kind of political and social climate of the 70s and 80s influenced horror films in America, which is a really good watch. Definitely recommend that. And it has John Carpenter, Wes Craven, Cronenberg, George A. Romero, Tobe Hooper, Landis is on there as well. All these great horror directors, all great talking heads as well, telling you about how the political and social climate influenced their horror movies in the 70s and 80s. So definitely worth a watch is that one. And another one which is Nightmares in Red, White and Blue, and pretty much the same talking heads on this one as well, but more talking about the evolution of horror in the US rather than, you know, the political and social aspect influencing it. So definitely worth a watch, these three. They're not my favorite horror documentary. My favorite horror documentary is Terror in the Aisles. This is the Scream Factory version of Terror in the Aisles. I so recommend this film if you can get it. It's from 1984, and pretty much every movie that you can think of is on this documentary up until that date. It's hosted by Donald Pleasance and Nancy Allen, and the movie's kind of like an 80-minute trailer for horror films. It plays really well. As a kid, it introduced me to so many horror films when I watched this. I think it introduced me to movies like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and even Rosemary's Baby, like I mentioned before, The Exorcist, because The Exorcist wasn't available in the UK at this time. And so it's sort of my Bible, is this, on horror pre-1984. Definitely recommended from Scream Factory. And there's also a different version of the movie as well, a kind of TV cut of the film. And the score's damn good as well. If you've got Spotify or anything like that, the score's on there, and it's definitely worth a listen. So yeah, my favorite horror documentary of all time, Terror in the Aisles. Next up is the Tombstone 4K Steelbook, which I did a video on the other day, which you can watch up there somewhere again. A lot of links on this episode. Tombstone, one of the great classic 90s westerns, but not only classic western, one of the great classic 90s action pictures as well. Directed by George P. Cosmatos, Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Powers Booth, who else is in there? Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton, huge cast. Way bigger than it needs to be is this cast. It's fantastic. Michael Biehn, who plays a great role in there too. And they've done a great job on this, have Disney. You know, it's not the best transfer I've ever seen. There's a few issues with the black saturation in this film, in some of the darker scenes, but overall it's pretty decent and the sound mix is fantastic. So yeah, Tombstone. Again, you can check my review out for that on the link that I displayed earlier. And then a few steelbooks which I picked up, which one of them came out, I think it was around about March time, which I was a little bit late getting my hands on, which is Escape from New York, this really fantastic steelbook version here. And it's exactly the same as the Studio Canal version that came out a couple of years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago now. Apart from the fact it's been remastered in Dolby Atmos and HDR10 and Dolby Vision. So that's the reason why I bought it, because the Studio Canal version is just in 4K. Really fantastic transfer, one of my favorite films of all time, and buying this made me want to buy some of the other Shout Factory John Carpenter versions, and so I fell into the trap this month and ended up also buying The Fog, again, remastered in HDR10 Dolby Vision with Atmos, which the Studio Canal version doesn't have. A really fantastic looking sleeve is this. Genuinely does look great. There's the lighthouse on the back there. And also, I couldn't help myself but go for They Live as well. And there that one is. Some great artwork on the front there with Keith David and Rowdy Roddy Piper. On the back, one of the aliens as well. Haven't watched this one yet, but it has been done in Atmos Dolby Vision HDR10, so I shall look forward to watching that over the next week or two. So what would be my recommendation of the month? I'm not going to count the documentaries because they've all been out for a little while. I'm not going to count the steelbooks there because they've all been out for a little while. But I would probably say that my favorite 4K this month I would recommend is Nosferatu. Absolutely fantastic film. Looks amazing, sounds amazing, and looks really, really neat in this little steelbook form. So that's it, folks. That's everything I purchased in April. I'm going to do a little video with everything that I've got on order for May. None of it's come through yet. There's a few interesting little things. Not as many Blu-rays, DVDs, 4Ks coming out in May. June and July are big months. You've got Lethal Weapon, Jaws, Jurassic Park. All those ones are coming along in the next few months. Arrow have got some great stuff with Zombie Flesh Eaters and The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 and Roadhouse, things like that. And then Second Sight have got the likes of Talk to Me and Nice Guys. So all those are coming. And hopefully I'll be able to do a little show and tell on those when they arrive. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for your help with this channel. I got past 1,000 subscribers the other day, way sooner than I imagined I would. And that's down to your support watching these videos. The last few that I've done have been really well received. And I can't thank you enough for that. And if you're not subscribed already, then maybe consider it. And also, if you would, hit the like button. It really does help the channel and help this video to get out to all those fans of physical media. In the meantime, thanks a lot, guys. I shall talk to you very soon.